DeAndre, can you tell me, did you have any chance to work with Kevin and Kyrie during those workouts in Los Angeles this summer? And if not, what have you seen from them since you guys have been back together in Brooklyn?
Well, I live in Los Angeles during my life. So yes, I was able to get some work in with those guys.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, DeAndre, I'm just curious, when you contracted COVID and everything, was there any chance of you trying to make it into the bubble later than the roster was set? Or just if you can explain how that situation unfolded with you getting it, and if there was any chance of you potentially joining the team later down there, wouldn't have worked out.
I forget when I tested positive for the virus, but I was doing all the protocol needed to try to make it back to the bubble, and just didn't have a negative test in the amount of time that I needed to have it.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Hey, DeAndre. Just following up on Alex's question, I'm curious. I mean, you were one of the guys, the inordinate amount of guys on this team that actually had to deal with COVID. One, hopefully there are no lasting effects. And two, with no bubble this season, I mean, how different or difficult is it going to be actually, flying all over the country as opposed to having been in the bubble, which looks like it might have been the safest place in the country?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's above my pay grade, but I hopefully it'll be successful. Hopefully we can be as safe as possible. I know that when we are in the gym, we're being as safe as we can. When we're home, I think that we're being as safe as we possibly can, wearing masks, washing our hands as much as we can, not really being in contact with a ton of people, especially people that we don't know. So hopefully, we can have another successful restart to the season, and we can be safe.
Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Hi, DeAndre. I'm wondering, one, if having the virus changed the way you talk to people who haven't had it about it, or encourage people to take it seriously, maybe who haven't experienced it. And two, if you could just walk us through what it's like getting to the practice facility, what it looks like for you, where you guys get tested, and how that works.
Well, I always took the virus seriously. I still do, because I know there's a chance that I can still contract it. Even before, I washed my hands a ton, wasn't around people, wore my mask all the time, like real anal about it, but I still contracted it. Very frustrating, like I said before. But I was very lucky that there's no lasting effects. And, coming to practice is very strange. It's something obviously that we haven't had to deal with before any other season. But, we get to practice, you take one test, you take another test, and you wait in the car until you're hopefully negative, and then you can go up and, with your mask on and do your individual work and lift and shoot, and then you go home and you do the same thing again the next day. So I think that we've done a great job staying as safe as we possibly can, and, taking this thing as seriously as it needs to be taken. And, hopefully we can stay safe.
Just to clarify, you wait, and it's the 15-minute test, right? Where you wait in the car, they put it up your nose, and you wait until you get that negative test back. Or is it the test from the day before? Yeah.
It's two different. Yeah, it's two different tests. So.
Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
Hey, DeAndre, how's it going? Happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed that time with your family. While we're on the topic of coronavirus and all the protocols, I'm curious as to, you seem like a guy who's pretty intentional about what he eats, you know what I'm saying, about what he puts in his body. Has that changed at all after your diagnosis? Were you more maybe interested in foods that can boost your immune system to fight disease, or has your approach to what you put in your body from a nutrition or a diet standpoint changed at all?
No, I think that I've stayed the same way. Obviously, during that time, you wanted to take more immune boosters and vitamins, whatever you needed to try to shake it. But my diet has stayed the same. And for me, it's more so about outside protecting yourself from what's going on outside, and it has made people a little bit more standoffish and enclosed. But I think during this time, until we figure out a way to get back to a normal lifestyle, those are the precautions that I personally am going to take, and I think that we're going to take as a unit.
Jen Williams, Fox 5.
Hey, DeAndre, quick question for you. With some of the guys having been in the bubble and some of the guys staying back and you have KD back, how would you I know it's early on, but how would you describe the team chemistry and how can you work on it going forward, especially when, as you said, everyone's got to kind of keep their distance right now as you move towards the goal of starting the season?
Yeah, I think that we're doing a great job. I think the guys are getting their individual work in and lifts and cardio, whatever they need to do to better themselves before we are able to all get together on the court and practice. But I do think, once we are on the court, we're going to probably be playing a lot just to build that chemistry and cardio, just to get up and down and just feel each other out, see where guys want the ball, and because we haven't been able to play. So I think that it's going to be very important for us early on in camp to be able to get that time together.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, DeAndre, just one more for you. I'm curious how much of a relationship you had with Steve Nash before he became head coach. Obviously, you guys would have shared Staples Center, I want to say, for a few years towards the end of his career.
Yeah, Steve was great. Played against Steve for I don't know how many years. Obviously, when he was in Phoenix and then with the Lakers, it kind of makes me feel a little old, but let's just say that Steve's young. But it's nice. Like I said before, it's great to have a great basketball mind like that now being at the helm, and along with other great coaches, former head coaches now that we have, along with JV and Adam and Tiago from last year. So I'm excited just to be able to put all of those things together and get back on the court with everybody and start gelling.
Tom Dowd, BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, DeAndre, with yourself and Nick Claxton not being able to go down to Orlando left a really big role for Jarrett. What did you see from him and the way he played in that scenario?
I mean, he's only 21, so I mean, the cardio didn't hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Like it was fine for him. But it was tough for me personally. Not being able to go down there was frustrating. But I couldn't control what was going on, and I think for Nick the same. But seeing JA down there being able to anchor the defense and talk as much as he did, watching the games and talking to him throughout the bubble, I thought was awesome. And he really took on that role, knowing that, he was pretty much going to be the only big man down there that we had. But he took it like a pro. And I'm glad that he did, and he was successful down there. And I'm excited to see what, effect that has on this upcoming season.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
DeAndre, I just wanted to ask again a little bit if you could give your actual thoughts on how Durant and Irving looked to you when you worked out with them. And then second of all, there's a lot expected of this team. So what is the atmosphere coming in training camp knowing that you guys are trying to win a title?
I think they look like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I think they look exactly like themselves. And there's no favoring or tiptoeing around things. Those guys are both going really hard. And it's good to see. It's good to see Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving back on the court. I will say that. And to your second question, I don't think we're going to put any pressure on ourselves. There's already going to be enough outside noise as it is, so there's no need for us to add more pressure. Hopefully every 30 teams in the league go into the season hoping to win a championship. So we're not the only teams thinking that. We know what our goals are, and we know, We have guys who have made it to that goal and reached that pinnacle. So, we know what it's going to take, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be a process, especially with, new coaching staff, new players, guys coming back from injuries. It's going to be a process, but it's something that we're looking forward to. And it's going to be ups and downs, but if we keep going and keep learning every day, we should be fine.
We'll go back to Christian Winfield.
Hey, DJ, got a two-part question there for you. First, can you talk about just your preparation this offseason? It's been a short offseason, right? So how have you gotten ready for this year? And I kind of lost the second question. So you just go with the first one.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, I just, just the same way I approached the offseason. Mine was a lot longer than other people's. So at the beginning, it was a little weird, especially at the height of the virus, being able to work out and find safe places other than your home. But I think I stuck with the same workout and routine and regimen that I always do. But like I said, since my offseason was a little longer than other guys, I didn't want to peak too early in the offseason and burn myself out. And I also didn't want to, start off too slow and then have to play catch up when it's time. So I feel like myself, the staff that I had around me, we did a pretty good job spacing everything out. Had ramp up days and moderate days to where, I gave my body a rest and then pushed, for a certain amount of time. And it's definitely been successful for me.
I kind of remember the second part. Steve said that Jacque is going to be in charge of the defense, right? So for all intents and purposes, he's the defensive coordinator of this team. Can you talk about what you saw from Jacque in the limited time that he was head coach last year? I guess earlier this year, in terms of what type of detail he put into the defensive end of the ball and what we can expect for Jacque in this role?
I think Jacque is definitely, another great basketball mind that we had, another former head coach who loves defense. And when he took over late in the season, last season before the restart, there were some things that we changed up defensively. We wanted to talk more, we wanted to rotate more and pull in and help. And just to see that change and guys respond to it so quickly was amazing. And I think we're doing the same thing in this season. And I think we're going to add things. And now that we have more personnel, it's going to get better. And like I said before, it's going to be a process for us on both sides of the ball. But defensively, we know we can control that.
Go back to Malika Andrews, ESPN.
When you're going through the trying not to peak too early or wait too long so you're not sluggish, would you sum up the longer off season at this point in your career as a benefit to you and your body, or was it more of a detriment to try not to get too comfy in the couch?
I think it was a little bit of both. I don't want to say detriment, but I do think that it was tough because we didn't know when the season was going to start again. We didn't know when we were going to be able to do stuff. So it was kind of like, you were just trying to figure it out on the fly, which was very frustrating. But as a professional athlete, you have to be able to adjust and be able to respond to different situations. And so I owe a lot of credit to the people that I had around me during my workouts and, and now being able to get back in the gym, I know that I was doing the right thing.
We've got time for one more. We'll go to Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Hey, DeAndre, you talked about remembering playing against Steve. I believe he might have been 9-4 against you, but I'm not exactly certain. But playing against Amari.
I know you got your stats. He was 9-4?
I think so. Have you had a chance to work at all with Amari yet? And what would he bring?
Amari is one of the, best pick and roll players we've seen. And especially me coming up as a young player in high school, he was somebody who I loved watching play. I haven't had a chance to work with him yet, but I know whenever I do, I'm going to pick his brain about angles and getting out of screens, where to screen guys, getting to the basket. So, like I said, just being able to learn as much as I can from these guys who have played the game and and/or are great basketball minds, just to be able to learn from them and be able to transfer to on the court for my game and for my teammates, I think is going to be huge for us.